you guys are saying on Facebook. There's a lot of people that have got a lot of views on this matter about England and us as a nation, as well as our infrastructure. So let me have a look here. I've got the first person, which is Leon O. Obviously, Leon, we had a conversation on Facebook on my status, and you had a lot to say. Very, very valid points. One of the key things I can see here that Leon's saying is obviously our 19-year-olds from this country are not on the same level as the French, the Spanish, or the Germans. You know, they're more technically and better than what we are. And, you know, they're mentally stronger than what we are. Now, from our perspective, you know, we're looking at how our players can progress. You know, we don't work on a lot more of the development side of things, where they actually focus a lot more on their development side of things. Then Leon M comes and says his points. Leon, obviously, also someone that plays in the football world as well as Leon O. His views is pretty much similar, where he's saying about the technical players and the flair players. And that, you know, there's a lot more that we need to start looking at in our infrastructure. You know, you've got the likes of Wayne Rooney, who's obviously a top player. Everyone talks about him. However, you know, looking at the amount of goals that he has scored from the England set and what he's actually currently doing at the moment proves the point. You know, he's speaking about what Stuart Pearce had to say about us struggling. And if you look at the FIFA rankings, you can see that, you know, we're going down and down, and we need to start looking at things and re-evaluating exactly how we nurture our players. Yeah, also a little bit on the coaching there and what we need to focus on when it comes to our coaching. Leon O actually comes back and says about the academy structure and in the reserves through to the national team. He said, you know, the development side, going back to the development side, our mentality in England is only about winning, not developing players. It's all about just winning, which is, you know, it is a point, because I think at the top level you see, you know, everyone's just about results, which is understandable because people's jobs are on the line. But, you know, I think what, you know, reading between the lines here, between what, you know, Leon M comes back and Leon O, and it goes on for a long way, all the way down, about passing and moving, and, you know, the technicalities of the football and what we need to be working on, and our coaches. He's got here, some of them don't have a clue on exactly what they need to do, and I think that comes from, you know, the FA and what they want to do on the coaching courses. And I know I've got someone that obviously is part of, you know, the tutor sessions within football coaching, and he has a lot to say about exactly what the failing process is. So I'm going to go and have a look at him. So thank you, Leon O, and thank you, Leon M, for your views. And obviously I didn't read everything you said out, but I've got the general gist of what you're saying, and I know you're going to have a few more views to say on the back of that. So, you know, keep them coming, no problem whatsoever. So let's have a look at the next point, which we have here from Tony Lintz, a guy that I really respect. You know, he's been in the game for a long period of time. You know, he's been at the top level, and he coaches. Right, so he is basically saying that, you know, things will only improve when more experienced people in the game get up to the senior level, and then they can actually sort out the quality of the coaching at the minute. Because yes, we do have a lot of coaches, and a lot of players are getting fast-tracked. And a lot of coaches are getting fast-tracked, and they're not going through the proper processes to understand the philosophy of what is needed, you know, about the development. And he talks about the ideas of the Dutch, the Germans, the Spanish, and, you know, a lot of people are talking about, you know, how they do their things and what they need to do. And I think what's fundamental here, we can see that it comes back to the element of coaching, how they're getting coached, these players, you know. But I don't blame the coaches per se. I blame the system. I blame the system of what is expected out of our coaches and what they're actually putting out, and what they're being told to coach. That's the difference. You're getting told to coach a certain way, and a lot of people are talking about the players and saying some of them are not good enough. But I do think we have talented individuals. Now, when we talk about flair, some people are naturally gifted and flair players. And that happens in the continental countries. We have to appreciate and we have to understand that. But we have to have a system that works for us, and we don't currently have a system in this country that currently works for us. We think we can get balls in behind and then play. And we saw in the under-21s that players was not comfortable when the ball came to them. They really wanted to panic and rush to play. And that is the same as the national team. It's about patience. It's about one-touch, two-touch football, building up play. Can I trust that person in midfield to give him the ball? They're the sort of things we need to look at and we need to start doing, because all of the other countries and all of the other nations that are successful, that's what they train their youngsters to do. Get the ball into feet. Can I look after it? Can I get it back? Can I go out the other side? Can we have interchange in a position? All of these key factors are things that in England we definitely don't do. We've all been on the courses, so we see exactly what's happening. And Tony Linton, I'm sure you're going to have something to say about this. And hopefully you're agreeing with the fact that we need to be working on more technical side of things when it comes to our coaching. And enhancing our coaches to make them understand that players need to be able to express themselves. Yes, play within guidelines, but also express themselves in the right manner. And then we have to eliminate players doing their own thing and not listening to what instructions are being put out. So that's another big thing. But I've also got Mark C here, who also speaks about more about homegrown players being developed. Allowing youth coaches more time to coach these players. There's not enough time for coaching. At the minute, things are getting, he is saying that people are now getting picked by the names of the players and their status opposed to how good they actually are. So he's actually talking about their ability here, looking at it. And just looking back, at the end of the day, Tony comes back with his views and talks about how things were in the early years, in the 1966. At that stage, and how football was run from that perspective. So all good views from all of you guys, and I probably haven't read all of them out because there's a lot more that are coming through. So keep them coming. Seriously, keep them coming. And from my perspective, just to round it all off, I personally have said a lot of the things that I believe. I think we need to start looking at our infrastructure, and it needs to start from the top. I think they all need to sit down and reassess exactly what they want our national team to be, because at the end of the day, they have to start from the top and start realising, right, we've got a Premiership. What is our Premiership? Are we sticking to making our Premiership commercial? Are we going to focus on making our Championship level the level for us to groom our England players? Now, not a lot of people's going to agree with that, but that's what we have to start looking at the end of the day, because that's it. It's a money maker at the top level, and then when you start getting to the Championship, which is very, very competitive, mind you, and there's a lot of good quality in there, and if we look at under-21s, there's a few players there. I also heard on TV, and I was obviously looking at Sky Sports News today, and they turned around and said that there's a lot of players that are not playing regular first-team football. Now, that is a very, very fundamental point. If you're not playing regularly for your club team, how can you be expected to represent your country? That is a key point. You need to start looking at that. But also, if you are representing your country, you give it 100%. You don't need the guidelines. You don't need to get told what to do. Playing with passion and playing with heart, costs you absolutely nothing. Following instructions is the second most fundamental thing. But when things are not going according to plan, go back to basics. That's the one thing that always works in the football world. If you stick to basics, and a lot of these countries, they keep things very, very simple. One touch, two touch football. Can we move into space? Can we play a ball into someone that is marked? Can I get it back? Can I go out the other side? Yeah. Can I then try and hit the front man, go and support play? Then can we keep the ball for as long as possible? Can we find an opening? Let us be patient. They're very